So the video cut out, I'm not sure why, but I was just showing you there that you can change the batteries over so that you can draw power from either the engine or the leisure battery, but you don't ever want to do that really, so leave that button off so that all the power is being drawn from the leisure. Once you've done that, you know, just leave that one alone, power on, aux on. You can then go ahead and start using things like your lights, which now that it's getting a bit dark outside, you can see has lit this van up really nicely. You have also got, as well as the over the cabinet ones and the spot lamps in the middle, you've also got these smaller spotlights, which will do, you know, they are really, really bright actually. So, you know, you've got absolutely plenty of light in here. Even though it's a small motorhome, they've put in more than enough lights to keep it light throughout. You've got ignition switch there for all three of these burners at the top. The ignition switch also does the grill and the oven. Under the oven, quite often, okay, so there's nothing in here apart from the switch at the back there. So that plug there will be the thing that powers this electric hot ring. So the hot ring itself will only work when the hookup is plugged in, but you will need to make sure that that plug is left in. So basically you can leave that plug, leave it alone, and it'll always stay on. You've got the extractor and lights under here. This sink here has got its own little clip just there, so you can hold it open if you like. They've used the same colour screws and stuff, so it looks quite nice there. A couple of power points up there in the corner. So again, that's 240 volts, so that's mains powered, so only working when your mains cable is plugged in. The fridge, really, really easy to use. It actually is on at the moment, which you can tell by the fact that there's nothing on the screen, but the green light in there is on. So when I press this just once, it comes up on the screen telling us how it's working, what it's using, and the amount of, you know, sort of like 1 to 5, how powerful. So it's on automatic mode, it's on gas, and it's on 5, so that's maximum. If I press this, I can flick through, so that's mains power, so it's not going to work because there's no mains cable plugged in. You've got 12 volt, which also won't work because there's no engine running, or gas. So the gas will light up, and that's it. So the gas and the mains are the two that you need to use to get this fridge actually cold in the first place. The 12 volt one here will only work when your engine's running, and all it really does is keep the temperature in the fridge as it is. So in other words, if you're going to go on holiday tomorrow morning, I would advise light the fridge up on gas, or if you've got a mains cable plugged into it, put it on mains and leave it overnight with all of your stuff inside. By that morning that you leave, when you go to leave, the fridge will be cold, and then all you have to do is flick through to the 12 volt when you start the engine. So the 12 volt there, like I said, is only for keeping the temperature that you've already put in the fridge whilst you're driving. When you get to where get to where you're going, park the van up, turn everything off, and then just switch through to whichever one you want to use. If you've got a mains plugged in at the campsite, use the mains. If you don't, use the gas. And the reason as well that I say it's a good idea to do it the night before is that these fridges, and all motorhome fridges really, take about 3 or 4 hours to get cold in the first place. So it's just really important that you get that nice and cold before you switch over to 12 volt. So for the moment I'm going to turn it off, so press and hold, and that's it, no more green light, and that's it off. Microwave, again, that's a 240 volt appliance, so this will only work when your mains cable is plugged in. It should come up with lights up here when you first plug in. If it doesn't, it's quite likely this little switch in here is an isolator for that. Clean the camera screen off a little bit. Right, next things, you've got a combi boiler in this motorhome. So that means that it doesn't mean combi in the way that it means combi at a household, but it means that you can heat the water up and do the heating from the same unit. So if we just ignore this part at the moment, this is all how you sort of select the energy that you use. So if I want to heat the van up only, I don't want to heat the water up, which at the moment I don't because I haven't got any water in the vehicle at all. If I want heating only, I go down 1, green light comes on, fan kicks in, the flame will light up inside the boiler, and then you'll get heating coming through these little vents down here, the little circular ones. So that's that, really, really simple. If you wanted to heat the van up and get hot water, you go down 2, you get a little amber light come up on here, and then you'll get heating and hot water at the same time. But at the moment, like I said, amber light will go off. I only want the heating because I haven't got any water in the boiler, and it's really not a good idea to try and heat the water up when there's nothing inside of it, because that'll, you know, basically that'll knacker the boiler. So until you know the boiler's full, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, use heating only. So leave that as it is. You can turn that up from 1 to 5, that's just the fan speed. And then after, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, you'll have heating coming out through these vents. In fact, it's already warm. All right, so that's that. If you want to heat the water up only, so if it's summertime, you don't want any heating in the vehicle, but you do want hot water still, you go up either 1 to 40 degrees or 2 to 60. So all you're doing there by going up is heating the water only, okay? So that's how you use that. So now that I've got that lit up, there'll be heat coming out of that vent that I showed you on the outside, and then you'll definitely know that it's on. If it doesn't light up, you will get a little flashing red light next to the green one, so you'll know anyway, but that's just there if you want to double check. The one on the right hand side here, so that's all pretty straightforward stuff, but just sort of bear with me on trying how to explain this one. So it says 230 volt here, so it says mains power, so that's, but try and ignore that basically. So these little lines here, so you see the 2 up, you've got 1 line or 2 lines. You've also got the 1 line or 2 lines going down as well. So the lines mean 1 electric or 2 electric, or in other words, 4 amps of electric, 8 amps of electric. So at the moment, I've got the heating on only, and it's on gas because I'm facing towards this little gas symbol only. If I had the mains cable plugged in, I could go up 1 or up 2 and heat the van up via the electric only. If I had electric plugged in and the gas switched on, I could go down 1 or 2 and get gas and electric at the same time. So all this right hand one does here is select what energy you want the boiler to use to do whatever you tell it to do here. Okay, so at the moment, and most of the time, to be honest, you're just going to be using it on gas. So you can, most of the time, you can just leave it exactly where it is, and whatever you tell it to do here, whether it be heating or hot water, you can just leave that there and it'll do it on gas. If you don't have any gas, but you do have an electric hookup plugged in, put this one up to the top here and then just choose whatever you want it to do. All right, but for the minute, I'm going to turn that off. The green light will flash for, you know, sort of 30 seconds or so, I think, because all it basically tells you is that the fan is still running, just cooling itself down. Right, what else do we have? Like I said, you've got the solar panel up on the roof, which is putting loads of charge into that leisure battery. It's working really, really well. The bathroom, you have got a light up here. Oh, a bit of a sticky switch on that one. All right, I have to sort that. So yeah, there's a light up there anyway. Yeah, sticky switch on those. Right, I'll sort that. So the light up there, you can see they'll both be like that basically. When the awning's in the vehicle just here, so we're just leaving it in the bathroom so that it doesn't sort of take up any other space for now. There's a catch up here, which you can see comes down just like a lot of the other catches that you'll find in the motorhome. So when you want to have a shower, you pull this entire unit over here and then clip it in at the top, and that gives you a separate shower room when you use this shower screen. So that's there. The tap is really, really simple, just like your kitchen one there. Hot to the left and cold to the right. The only thing I really want to show you in here, to be honest, is the toilet, because that's the only bit that you might not have used before, or it isn't sort of self-explanatory. The flush button is up the top, so when you press that, the flush fluid will pump around the inside when there's some in it, and then you drain it out into the cassette by pulling this way, so that opens that hole into the cassette, and then closing it back like that. You need to make sure that you close it back, because if you don't close it back, you won't be able to take the cassette out from outside. It will have locked itself in place. So I'll leave that on for the minute so I don't forget to sort that light. Right, so I've shown you the fridge, shown you the cooker. What else do we have? Wardrobe here. So in the wardrobe, you've got your TV aerial, which is this bit that you can literally loosen off, tilt and turn. It's called a tilt and turn aerial. Extra cushions for making up the bed, table, you know, all those bits and pieces, extras. Absolutely loads of paperwork in here for the motorhome itself, and your TV aerial booster. So that's up there. That will all be wired in to wherever the TV bits and pieces are. There'll be some sockets somewhere, so probably over here somewhere. Yeah, there you go. So all of your TV stuff will all be wired up to that, so you can have your TV put on here. This is a very, very standard size bracket, so you'll be able to fit nearly any TV on here. So whichever one you decide to go for, you've got a 12-volt point up there, and you know, if you did need a 240-volt socket putting in, then you can do, but a lot, you know, most motorhome TVs work off 12-volt anyway, so that's all there. There is also another one here. You see that? So you've got a couple of mains points on this one. TV aerial, 12-volt, all that sort of stuff. So it's all there. The front, I'll show you how this works, because to be honest, when I first started working here, I couldn't even work these out myself. So open up these little catches, and then you have to use this. So I used to try and just push these up, but you have to use this winder. When you use the winder, you can see there, it's opening up. It'll only go so far, but it's only really made just to give you that kind of, you know, that kind of gap. You close that back over. When it gets to the very bottom, keep going until it stops, fold it back, put those catches across. So, I think I've pretty much shown you everything I can, to be honest. I mean, I've shown you the lights, shown you the boiler, and I hope that made sense of all the boiler situation, because it can be a little bit awkward to explain sometimes. But basically, the one on the right decides what energy to use on the fridge, on the boiler, sorry, on the fridge, and the one on the left just tells the boiler what to do. So sometimes I remember it as Combi, just the boiler, and Combi E, you can remember it as Combi Energy, so what energy the boiler uses. So that's all there. So yeah. Right, so I think I've pretty much covered everything I can. I'll sort that light in just a second. But if there's anything else you think I've missed out, or anything you want covering again, just let us know. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.